My name is Sarah Miller Caldicott. I am a great-grandniece of Thomas Edison. I started my career in the Fortune 500 in Chicago and spent a lot of time developing new products and also looking at new technologies and new pathways for brands to consider for global launch. One of the things I learned in my research is that Edison pioneered 6 disruptive industries, all of which exist today and all of which are present in our smartphones, the devices we use every day. From my experience in corporate life and even with some of my clients, what I see is that we kind of bring together collaboration and teamwork as the same idea. And in fact, Edison did not believe they were the same. Edison believed that collaboration was the on-ramp to innovation. And if you cannot collaborate effectively, you cannot innovate effectively. So this is why I'm doing the work that I am doing today, to look back at Edison's process, to see what we can do to apply it today, how we can be more agile, how we can create in 6 hours what would normally take 6 months. Edison wanted to use midnight lunch as a time to have employees respond to ideas that were very provocative and very different. A midnight lunch took place in the laboratory, starting at about 7 p.m. Edison would come to the lab after hours, check on his own experiments, and then he would talk to others who were staying late as well, just to have them share their experiments with each other, actually trade their lab notebooks so they could read what the assumptions were that their colleagues had about a certain project they were undertaking. And then they would talk about these things and again see patterns that were perhaps in common across the different efforts that were taking place within the assembled folks there. But beyond that, Edison would have them run for some 2 hours straight doing this, then order in food to have a little break. So they'd clear off a lab table, get the food going, have some social conversation, and then get back to it until about midnight. So the value for us doing this today is to think about projects and challenges from a different angle. Edison really wanted to have diverse thinking styles present in these sessions. He didn't want to have all engineers work with other engineers, all physicists work with other physicists, all mathematicians work with other mathematicians. He wanted the full richness of the thought process of his laboratory to be part of these sessions. A modern midnight lunch would be a group of 6, 7, 8 executives from different parts of an organization coming together to work for 6 hours. In a modern midnight lunch, you would be working on your computer, interacting with software. In a modern midnight lunch, you might be sitting in the same room as your colleagues, with some colleagues also tuning in remotely. As you proceed through the 4-step process, you will be asked to contribute your own thinking first, and then hear the contributions and read the contributions of your colleagues. The first begins with what Edison used very frequently as a tool in his invention and innovation process called analogical thinking. This is an exercise in which the team takes a word that has been pre-selected by the team's facilitator and marries it with a term from nature. Edison revered nature. He believed nature was a perfect system. A modern midnight lunch would take this technical term and match it to nature and have the executives find the likeness between those two unlike terms. Midnight lunch today also then consists of looking at needs. Edison realized needs were crucial. His very first patented invention actually failed because he did not consider needs. So in a modern midnight lunch, needs are still crucially important. A third aspect of a modern midnight lunch is asking a unique question. I call it the master question. Part of Edison's competitive advantage was that he was asking different questions than his competitors. If your team is not asking a question that is provocative and unique, you will be less likely to succeed. So the final part of a midnight lunch is actually developing hypotheses that flow out of that master question. Thinking about the if-then statements that the team can then go and undertake in the following weeks and months that will fulfill the master question. So every team that undertakes a midnight lunch is going to walk away with a couple things. The first is a listing of these need statements that are part of the process. They will also walk away most powerfully with a master question. And the final piece is the hypothesis statements, the things that you're going to be using to propel your discovery learning. Midnight lunch transforms employees into colleagues. You're contributing your best ideas and realizing that that is not only for your benefit, but for the discovery learning benefit of the team. That is how Edison was able to create these breakthroughs. So working in small teams of 6, 7, 8 people, you develop that collegiality. So all of that creates a deeply collegial environment and puts collaboration together as that on-ramp to your innovation efforts.